book girlies and guys. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Kira, and today we will be discussing The Giver and the differences between the book and the movie. If you haven't watched or read it, then I would suggest you don't watch this video because it is full of spoilers. I don't know how I would do it. I would do this kind of video without spoilers. If you have watched the movie but you haven't read the book or vice versa, then I'll tell you if the movie's actually accurate. So stay till the end and I'll be going through a list of differences and telling you which one is better. So first off, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the story. And so Jonas is a boy and he lives in a dystopian world where there's no pain, there's no love, there's no feelings. And then Jonas gets chosen to be the receiver of memories. So he gets the memories from the real world and real memories of love, of war, of Christmas, of snow, of all this stuff. And so in this book, first difference, they didn't take injections in the book. They took pills. The older kids took pills once they started getting their stirrings, but there was no mention of younger kids taking pills or injections or any kind of medication as there is in a movie. They always have to take their injections in the movie and it'll beep and say something if they don't take their injections. But in the book, he just throws away his pills. He doesn't take them anymore. Instead of in the movie, he substitutes an apple and he takes the injection with the apple. But also in the book, the friends are not a main part of the story as much as they are in the movie. They're still part of the story and they're still in it. They're just not as much involved in his escape and all this stuff. And speaking of their friends, they didn't have their own little triangle like in the movie. They just were friends. There was no special little triangle that they went in after school each day or something. And they helped in the beginning, in the movie, they helped at the nurturing center for the new children, but in the book, they helped at the House of Old. And there's nothing in the book about them clapping on their legs, which I kind of like it that they clapped on their legs in the movie, but that was not mentioned in the book, and it was just a little thing that they added. Also, the old were not released at the ceremony. They were released separately in the book, not at the ceremony, because it wasn't as important as everything else. And Lily was an 8, not a 9. In the movie, she was a 9, and she got her bicycle, but in 8, in the movie, she was an 8, and she just got a new jacket. Also, their friends' assignments were different. His friends' assignments were different. Asher was an assistant director of recreation, not a drone pilot, and Fiona was a caretaker at the House of Old, not a nurturer for the new children. So when he got assigned his job, there were only 5 instructions, but in the book there was 8 instructions. Just some added things that they didn't think they needed to add in the movie, I think. And also in the movie, there was this old house at the edge that the giver lived in, but in the book it was just called the annex, and it was behind the House of the Old. And there was a lady working in the annex. There was nobody else in the book, or nobody else in the movie that was working there. It was just him, the giver, at his house. But in the book, there was a little receptionist lady. And so when he gave the memories to Jonas, he did this in the movie. He put it on his wrist, but in the book, he actually put his hands on his sorry, I'm jumbling up my words. In the book, he put his hands on his back to transport the memories. And he acted way more shocked in the movie, which I think I like that better, actually, that he acted more shocked in the movie than in the book. But in the book, he was just like, okay, what's the next memory? And in so in the story, Gabe and Jonas are supposed to be like similar, and so in the movie, Gabe and Jonas both have a little birthmark on their wrist, but in the book, they just actually both have pale blue eyes. And so that was just part of that. And in the movie, Jonas didn't have blue eyes, he had brown eyes, which I think was kind of sad, because they're supposed to have blue eyes, and it like ties in the rest of the series too, like the blue eyes. And also, he didn't try to give Fiona the memories like he did in the movie. He tried to give Asher the memories in the book of like the color red, but Asher like couldn't get them. It was impossible. But in the movie, Asher was like kind of distant, more distant than he was in the book. And when he was at the Giver's house, when Jonas was at the Giver's house, he didn't find a plan for saying this map in the book as he did in the movie. And there was also no piano part in the book, which was sad, because I really like the piano part. And there was also, the memories given were slightly different. And also, remember that part when Jonas is leaving one morning in the movie. This is in the movie. And Jonas is leaving, and he has this intense conversation with the chief elder. And that never happens in the book. And I feel like it's much more serious in the movie. Like, the chief elder is like so much more mad. She's like way more in it. And yeah, not as much in the book. But also in the book, everybody had dreams. In the movie, Jonas, he said it was like a memory, but Fiona was there, and the Giver was like, that's a dream. But in the book, everybody had dreams, and they were told to share it with their family every single morning. They had to do it. Also, so he doesn't try to quit at all. I don't remember him trying to quit in the book. He does try to quit in the movie. He's like, I'm gonna quit, but then Fiona's like, no, don't quit. And so he's like, okay. But also with Fiona in the book, he's not romantic. There's no kissing at all in the book, and in the movie they added that. And also they added that she is more involved in his escape and helps him get Gabe, and then she's scheduled to be released because he helped him. And also Asher in the movie tries to stop him, but that never happens. And they're not involved in his escape at all in the book, as they are in the movie. And they took away some stuff, but not much. And overall, I think they did a good job with the movie, and it's still one of my favorite movies, even though it's not super accurate with the book. But they did a good job capturing the main storyline, and I'm not exactly sure which one I like better, but I think it's probably the book, because books are just so much better than movies. And if you're gonna either read the book or watch the movie, please read the book. And I would still recommend the movie. It's so good, and both of them I would recommend. And I hope you learned something new from this video about The Giver. And if you haven't read or watched The Giver, I would highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye.